What is up, everybody? Welcome to a Friday morning edition of The Squeeze. I am your host, Tyler Conium. We learned a valuable lesson last night. I talked about yesterday when I bet the Canada game. I said I don't normally do this. I don't necessarily recommend doing this. We bet the 2 units. We paid the juice on the minus 205, and we lost. And it got me thinking that sometimes we need these reminders in sports, especially in sports betting, of things you just don't want to do anymore, and this is definitely one of them, and that's betting on a team that is a home team for me in a big game, and then I just don't want to lose that bet, right? So even though Canada won the gold medal in overtime, I was soured a little bit because I had the bet in regulation, so I lost the bet. I lost a 2-unit bet, and I spent the night thinking, like, it just soured the win a little bit, which is insane because they won the gold medal. That's the ultimate goal, and I spoiled that for myself by betting that game. Now, of course, had they won in regulation, and we're talking about being up, and we would be 2-1 and all this sort of thing, but it's just not worth it. So, I needed the reminder that betting 2 units, betting minus 205 is probably never a good idea. I've done it 3 times in the last year and lost all 3 times. Number 2, not betting the outcome of a game that I have that much rooting interest in. Maybe some props, maybe even an over/under, because you're not going to be so upset. But not betting the outcome, especially the fact that they still won the game and I lost the bet. It'd be different if they just lost to Czechia and I go, okay, well, they lost the game and I can just be sad both ways. But they won the game, just not the way I needed them to win the game, and it soured it a little bit. So lesson learned. Will not be doing that going forward if my favorite team, which was obviously a Canadian team or a Toronto team, is in a big game especially. Maybe we'll get in on some props and all that sort of thing, but I don't need to bet to get excited about it. And I think I got caught up a little bit in the fact that creating content, it's the big game, you got to bet it, you got to talk about it. But I think people just want to win bets, right? I think people just want to win money. So 1-2 day yesterday, Boston covered. They beat the Mavericks quite handily. The Clippers in Denver went way under, so we split that. So we ended up just down the 2 units from the Canada game. So on the week, we're still up. We're still 6-3 and up 1.95 units, but it does sting losing that 2-unit bet. It should have just been 1 unit. But we can't stew on it. We have to move on. We have to keep going. And on that note, I have 3 picks for you today. 2 in the NHL, 1 in the NBA. We will start with the National Hockey League, and we're going to start in Detroit. So the Florida Panthers are in Detroit tonight to take on the Detroit Red Wings. Panthers come into this game 17-18-3. Detroit 16-13-5. At home this year, Detroit's 9-7 and Florida's 7-12. Detroit's the underdog in this one. They're plus 125. I think it's actually moved at DraftKings to plus 130. Bit confusing. I'm going to take the Detroit Red Wings on this. I'm going to take the home team, the home underdog. Neither of these teams have played recently. The last time Florida played was 3 days ago. For Detroit, it was 2 days ago. That was a 5-1 loss to New Jersey. But before that, they did beat Ottawa 4-2. Florida's coming off a 5-3 win against Arizona. But previous to that, they lost 5-3 to the New York Rangers and 4-0 to Carolina. When you look at recently, so the Panthers are just 1-5 in their last 6 against the East. They're 1-5 in their last 6 road games, and they're 1-4 in their last 5 Friday games. Red Wings haven't been that great either. They're only 3-8 in their last 11. And the Panthers have played Detroit well, but the way that they're both playing right at the moment, not historically, the way they're both playing right now are sort of around the 500 mark. And if I can get a home team that's above 500 at home, playing a team that's 7-12 on the road, and I can get plus money, plus 125, I'm going to take it. So Detroit Red Wings, 1 unit, plus 125. That is at DraftKings. Next up is the Nashville Predators at the Washington Capitals, and 2 days ago we employed the strategy of back-to-back games. We went 2-0 with that. It's been very profitable for us this year. We're going to do it again, but here's the thing. Nashville and Washington both played last night. So usually I want to take the team that didn't play the night before against the team that did, but what do you do when both teams played the night before? I'm going to go ahead and take the under 6.5 goals. On the year, Nashville is 19-17 to the under. Washington is 22-18 to the under. And these teams are playing under games anyway. And typically in hockey, your over/under is 6.5. So it's not like in basketball where the numbers have these massive fluctuations based on who they're playing. And it goes from 212 one night to 235 one night. It's always around 6.5. So they're playing under to those numbers. Washington is under. They're 5-0 in their last 5. To the under. Under is 4-0 in their last 4 when their opponent scores 5 goals in their previous game. Under is 5-0 in the Capitals' last 6 games on 0 days rest. So it sort of speaks to the strategy that when they're playing on back-to-backs, they are going under, which I like. And so I just think this game is going to hit under. The last few times these two teams have played. So October 29th, it was 3-0, went under. February of last year, 4-1, it went under. And then you're looking back to 2021, 2020 because of COVID and all that. So I don't really want to take that into account there. Starting in net, you've got likely as Lankinen and Lindgren. Both of them have goals against under 3. Lankinen is 3-4-1. Lindgren's 11-4. So they're going to have perhaps they're better goaltenders in net tonight. We will have to see on that, but I still like that total to go under 6.5. That's -110 at BetMGM. And the last bet, we head over to the NBA. We head to the bright lights of Los Angeles. We've got the 18-20 underachieving Atlanta Hawks against the 17-21, you could say also underachieving Los Angeles Lakers. And I like the Lakers in this game. I like them on the money line. It's almost even money. It's -104. We got that at FanDuel. The Lakers are 9-8 at home. The Hawks have not been great on the road. They're only 7-12. Lakers are currently on a 3-game winning streak. They've beat Miami. They won at Charlotte. They last won at Atlanta just a few days ago on December 30th. They beat them 130-121. Atlanta's kind of going the other way a little bit. They most recently won at Sacramento, but previous to that, we're on a 4-game losing streak, including the Warriors, the Lakers, the Nets, and the Pacers. So I just like the Lakers are just playing really good basketball. LeBron James is expected to play in this game. He's coming off back-to-back 40-point performances. Did miss the last game with an illness, so he should be fresh. He hasn't played since Monday. Russell Westbrook is probable for this game, and again, Clint Capella is still out indefinitely with a calf injury for the Hawks, so they don't have the big man down low. Lakers are 11-2 ATS in their last 13 games against teams with a losing record, so they're playing those teams really, really well. And the Hawks are only 5-11 ATS in their last 16 meetings in Los Angeles. So I like LeBron. He's playing very well. The Hawks, they're kind of sputtering a little bit. So I like the Lakers on the money line, -104 at FanDuel. So to run that card back again, I like the Detroit Red Wings at home, +125 at DraftKings. I like Washington and Nashville to go under the 6.5 total for -110 at BetMGM. And the Lakers money line, -104 at FanDuel. As always, drop a comment if you're fading or following. And you can follow me on Twitter at Tyler Conium for more picks and props throughout the day. Apple and Spotify have the audio versions of this podcast. And as always, let's talk sports.